Have you ever stopped to think about how a boy born in a cold, working-class town in the American Midwest managed to become the most famous artist the world has ever seen? Michael Jackson's story isn't just about music or dance. It's about overcoming obstacles, transformation, and the almost inexplicable power a human being possesses when they find their true purpose. Get ready, because what you're about to discover goes far beyond the music videos, the hits, and the moonwalk. It will reach that place within you that still believes great stories are possible. Gary, Indiana, wasn't exactly a dream setting, but it was in this small working-class town in the American Midwest that, on August 29, 1958, Michael Joseph Jackson was born, the boy who would one day be called the King of Pop. The town was simple, marked by the smell of steel from the factories. But it was precisely in this humble soil that one of the greatest stories in music began to germinate. Michael grew up in a small house with his parents, Catherine and Joseph Jackson, and 8 siblings, in an intense environment that mixed love, discipline, and a lot of music. His father, Joseph, was strict and ambitious, and he quickly saw his children's talent as a way out of that modest life, which would make Michael's childhood a mix of grueling rehearsals and ever bigger dreams. It all began at home, when the Jackson brothers joined together to form the Jackson 5, a group that quickly captivated audiences at their first local performances. Michael, despite being the youngest of the group, rapidly stood out with a voice and stage presence that seemed impossible for a child of only 6 years old. The Jackson 5 began performing in clubs, fairs, and talent shows in Indiana, and wherever they went, audiences were amazed by this little boy who sang and danced like a veteran of decades on the road. Their local success grew so quickly that it soon became clear that Gary was too small to contain so much talent, and the outside world began to be the group's next natural destination. In 1969, Motown, one of the most powerful and influential record labels in American music history, opened its doors to the Jackson 5 after an audition that left executives speechless. From there, the group signed a contract and released hits that dominated the charts, bringing the Jackson name into homes and hearts across the country, at a pace that few artists have managed to achieve so early. Even amidst the success of the Jackson 5, Michael began taking the first steps in a solo career back in the 70s, showing that his talent transcended any group format. It was as if he knew, deep down, that he had something unique to say to the world, and that the stage he needed was bigger than any he had ever stepped on before. In 1979, Michael released Off the Wall, an album produced alongside the brilliant Quincy Jones, and the result was an explosion of style, sophistication, and groove that redefined what pop and soul music could be. The album sold millions of copies, proved that Michael was much more than a former member of a child group, and paved the way for something even greater that was about to arrive. In 1982, Michael Jackson released Thriller and simply rewrote the rules of the musical game, becoming the best-selling album in history with over 66 million copies sold worldwide. Each track was a phenomenon, each music video a cinematic event, and the whole world realized that it was not witnessing an ordinary artist, but someone who had elevated music to a completely new level. In 1985, Michael co-wrote We Are the World with Lionel Richie, bringing together dozens of the biggest names in American music for a historic recording that raised millions of dollars to combat hunger in Africa. That moment showed that the King of Pop saw his success as a tool for real transformation in the world, and that his voice went far beyond stages and studios. Throughout the 1980s, Michael began to attract attention not only for his music, but also for the visible changes in his appearance, which generated speculation, headlines, and heated debates around the world. Behind the scenes, he faced delicate health issues, including a skin condition called vitiligo, but continued to deliver art and performance at a level that few could match. In 1987, Michael met all expectations and pressures with the release of Bad, an album that featured 5 consecutive #1 singles on the American charts, an unprecedented feat in music history. The world tour that accompanied the album broke audience and box office records, proving that the King of Pop was not only maintaining his throne but expanding his reign to every corner of the planet. In 1988, Michael surprised the world once again by releasing his autobiography, titled Moonwalk, where he opened the doors to his life in a way that few expected from an artist so shrouded in mystery. The book became an instant bestseller and offered the public a rare and human look at the journey of a boy from Gary who carried the weight and glory of being the world's greatest artist. In 1992, Michael put one of his greatest dreams into practice by founding the Heal the World Foundation, an organization created to help vulnerable children around the world. Philanthropy was always an essential part of who he was, and this foundation became concrete proof that the King of Pop truly believed that music and love had the power to heal wounds that no medicine could reach. Michael's personal life always sparked as much curiosity as his music, and his marriages to Lisa Marie Presley and Debbie Rowe fueled headlines around the world for years. Father of 3 children, Michael Prince, Paris, and Blanket, he was described by those who knew him closely as a devoted and loving father, someone who tried his best to offer his children the simple and carefree childhood that he himself never had. In 2009, Michael announced the This Is It Tour, a series of shows in London that promised to be the greatest spectacle ever seen on stage, with tickets selling out in a matter of hours to fans who came from all corners of the world. It was as if the King of Pop was preparing to write the grandest final chapter of a career that had already redefined the boundaries of music, dance, and entertainment. On June 25, 2009, the world stopped upon receiving the news of Michael Jackson's death at age 50, a victim of cardiac arrest caused by a drug overdose, while under the care of his personal physician. The grief was collective and instantaneous. Social media crashed, radio stations around the world played his classics on repeat, and it became clear that humanity had lost much more than an artist. It had lost a part of itself. In April 2026, the legacy of the King of Pop will take on a new dimension with the premiere of the film Michael, a biopic directed by Antoine Fuqua that promises to bring the artist's complete journey to the screen, from his time with the Jackson 5 to his global stardom. The lead role went to Jaffer Jackson, Michael's nephew in real life, in a cinematic debut that is already generating curiosity and excitement among fans worldwide. Even after his death, Michael Jackson remains the most studied, referenced, and celebrated artist in the world, with his legacy influencing generations of musicians, dancers, and creators who grew up trying to achieve only a fraction of what he built. Sales of his albums skyrocketed after his death. Documentaries, exhibitions, and tributes spread across the globe, and the King of Pop proved that some legacies are too great to fit into a single lifetime. As we reach the end of this journey through the life of the King of Pop, a question worth carrying with you remains. What are you doing with the talent you have within you? Michael Jackson was born into a humble home, faced a difficult childhood, overcame prejudice, illness, and unimaginable pressure, and yet he chose every day to dedicate himself to what he loved with an intensity that changed the world forever. And you, are you dedicating that same energy to what makes your heart race? The story of the King of Pop teaches us that legacy isn't built overnight, but rather in every rehearsal, every choice, every moment you decide not to give up even when everything weighs against you. If this story inspired you, moved you, or made you reflect on your own journey, then it was worth every second. Subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and come with us, because there are still many incredible stories waiting to be told, and the next one might be exactly the one you need to hear today.